Hello gamers, Matt Lemke here with True Gamer Goggles with, he took his name badge off, DGS Games.
Tom Meier, CEO of DGS Games.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Freeblade. They have just released their rule book for their skirmish game at the show. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Skirmish, Freeblades is a skirmish game set in the world of Phelan, which is a fantasy world that we've created with our help of our lead designer, John Cleves. He's been working on the background of this for a number of years. We focused on the skirmish game in the last 2 years for playtesting, and here at Origins we've released the brand new rulebook fresh off the press with 4 starter factions.
4 starter factions? How many models come in with a starter faction?
A starter faction, you're either going to have 6 to 7 models within the box, but all the boxes are point balanced against each other for the game, so each player, you've got 2 buddies, someone buys each starter box, they're balanced right out of the box, and you can start gaming right away.
So what's the buy-in cost?
So the buy-in cost is, the rulebook is $31.99, and the starter box is $31.99, so roughly $64, and you can start gaming.
Okay, so I understand that the dice components, the game mechanics are a little bit different from other systems. Can you cover that briefly without a demo?
We sure can. We use what we call our tiered dice system. We use our tiered dice system, and the concept is that modifiers for accomplishing tasks like 2-hit and casting spells will remain the same throughout the game, but as a character gets better, he gets to roll a larger die. So, for example, a standard target number in our game is 4. So if you're a follower or a new character, junior character, you're rolling a d4 or a 6-sided die to try and hit 4. But if you're a leader or a hero, you may be rolling a 10-sided or a 12-sided die, which is therefore easier to roll the target number of 4 with a larger die. And as you progress or have a better character or in the game, it gets a little easier to meet certain tasks and shoot people and hit people.
So they kind of level up as they progress?
You can level up. We've built in a league system into the game, so you could have a league at your local store amongst your friends, 6 to 8 games, and at the end of each game, depending on how well you did, you can gain experience, and then you can roll on an experience table to see if you gain abilities or capabilities. So, and it's different. A caster, they're going to want to pick up spell points and additional spells, but if you're rolling through a hero or one of your followers, their experience gain may be an increase in strength or knowledge or dexterity, depending on what you roll. And it's random what you gain in your experience to kind of make sure that you kind of compensate for any type of power gaming that might be involved.
I also understand that you've been playtesting it for quite a while. Why so long on the playtesting?
Well, even though we've only released 4 starter factions in the game, there's actually 14 factions in the system. And we wanted to make sure that all 14 factions have been play tested against each other so that when we release the other factions later down the line, they're balanced against the existing factions. Many times in a game system, great release when it starts out, then they come up with some new ideas for factions, but then when they release the factions a couple of years later, they tend to overpower because of special abilities or capabilities, or they weren't play tested in the early development stage, and the new factions suddenly overpower the previously bought factions, and the players who got into the game early sometimes feel like they got the short end of the stick. And as gamers, all the members of the company are gamers who've been through that sort of thing. We didn't want that to happen to our customers.
Now, I've taken a good look at their minis. They're simple and delicate at the same time. They offer a wide range for new painters to not feel intimidated by painting these models. And experienced painters have a lot of leeway to do whatever they want with tattoos. On the shields, they can probably do all kinds of special little insignias, on capes and cloaks. There's a lot of room to play. And I took photos of all their painted minis, so if they came out well through the glass, we'll have some good pictures for you. How about a little bit of background on the world?
Well, great, because talking about people's painting, a lot of people like to know the background of the figures that they're going to capture. And on our website, dgsgames.com, we have an in-depth gazetteer for each of the factions and the races they occupy. So you know that certain races are certain skin colors or they've got certain hereditary traits. You also know they like to use certain colors in their clothing or their weapons. So then when you're choosing your colors, you can choose to paint within some of the world that it has known, or they're your figures. You can paint them up any way you want. But it gives you some
really cool.
guidelines, but it's not real strict guidelines, but it just gives you a lot of background. I mean, everything from political systems of each of the countries to coloring and heraldry for some of the more formal, like the Heraldellans. So we explain the wards and counties and the political system and why they're different colors.
Anything that you want to add that you feel needs to be in something like this?
Spent a lot. I think the thing comes back to we spent a lot of time play testing to make the game as balanced as possible, and fun and streamlined. I'll tell you, when you look at the core rule book, they're like, you pick it up and it's kind of a hefty volume, as you've seen.
Yeah, it's hefty.
Yeah, but part of that is because we printed it on high quality paper. Printed all of our products are made right here in the U.S. It's 100-pound text paper and cover with a UV coating, so that as you spend a lot of time flipping through it, this book's not going to come apart on you. You're not going to rip the pages by accident. You've got high-quality pictures.
They might cut your fingers.
Exactly.
It's a heavy book. I bet 3 to 5 pounds. That's my guess. And it's paperback or cardboard back. It's heavy text. We did talk about one thing. I noticed as I was flipping through the book, there's some monsters. How do they play into the factions, or do they not?
So the factions, one of the starter factions is the Grular Invaders, who actually have partnered up with the demons in the world. So our world has magic, but also has demons, the dark side. And this one faction has teamed up, and some of the demons are actually in their faction and available for them to use. The creatures are creatures that roam the world, and some of the scenarios that are included, we have a beast hunt scenario where your free band goes out and there's a non-player character controlled beast in the center, and your opponent's free band is on the other side, and one of the victory conditions is to slay or capture the beast. But in the meantime, you're also fighting off the other free band. And then we have various scary or tough level creatures. So as your free bands progress and gain experience and points, we've got tougher creatures for them to battle in the game. So it doesn't become a pushover. So there's a variation based on how many points you've configured your force. We recommend which creature you should be using in the scenario to keep the scenario balanced.
Very nice. Very nice.
And we've had a lot of people today buying a lot of our creatures just because they think they're interesting and they're using them in other games. And we think that's great because we're a miniature game company. We love making the miniatures, and we've got the game to help people enjoy using the miniatures also.
Yeah, you've been making minis for 2 years already, right?
That's right. So
yeah,
we've been making and selling the miniatures individually for 2 years, and we've been going around to conventions, particularly in the Kansas City area. We've been to Adepticon now a couple of years also,
nice.
Selling the individual figures, and we just now released the rule book for our own skirmish game here.
Okay, good.
We also sell them through our store online.
DGS.com.
DGSGames.com.
I left out the games. I'm a failure. It's a long day, so let's see here. I'm assuming you're going to be at Gen Con then?
We're going to be at Gen Con. Matter of fact, our company was awarded a marketing fellowship based on our marketing plan. We entered competition with other startup companies attending Gen Con for the first time. We had to put together a comprehensive marketing plan, and we entered the competition, and we just learned a couple of months ago that we were selected as one of the 6 winners, I believe, total, and we're going to have a in-cap booth in Entrepreneur Alley, right on the main drag in the hall at
Lucky Dogs.
Gen Con. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about it.
I bet. That's a pretty good spot. That's a lot of foot traffic. For those of you that don't know what an Entrepreneur Alley is, you kind of have to beat people to get through.
Yeah, Gen Con Entrepreneur Alley is where all the new up and startup companies who are coming to Gen Con for the first time can get a booth, usually at a discount, because Gen Con wants to encourage new companies getting into the game industry and keeping people interested in what's going on. So you can get a discount for your first time, and then you have this competition that you can compete in. It includes, not only does it include the extended booth, but they also give you some time with the marketing company to help you develop your company's marketing plan. They give you access to advice from other marketing experts within the industry. So it's more than just you get a bigger booth. They've got a whole package to help you kind of kick off
to explode
as a new company. So we're pretty excited about it.
How about events? We have events at Gen Con?
Yep, we plan to have events in Gen Con. We got to get on to the schedule, but we're planning on having them in the evening. Like we've had a few events here in the evening. We're going to have one tonight at 8 o'clock, just open. People can show up and game, but we're going to be get some on the schedule at Gen Con. We'll be running in-booth demos at Gen Con also, just like we did here at Origin. So if someone wants to see what the game is like, you can come and check out a turn. We run through a turn. It takes about 15 minutes. It takes a little longer because we're explaining the rules. But a normal starter box game, if you're just starting out, it's going to take you about an hour to play. A quick playing game. You've got a larger group, maybe an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes if you've got larger forces on either side.
It's not a bad time.
So yeah, we wanted the game to be able to play pretty quick, so you can play one, have a good time, turn around, play it again.
There you go, gamers. DGS Games with Freeblade and all their minis. Matt Lemke with True Gamer goggles. And he took his badge off, and I forgot already. I am
Tom
so
Meier.
terrible.
Still Tom Meier.
I wanted to say John.
Now, my two partners here with me today are both named John, so unfortunately he didn't get one of them because that would have been easy.
That would have been easy. That would have been easy. Reporting from Origins Game Show. Fair. It's a fair now. 2013, I'm running special events.
Hope to see you all at Gen Con.
I was out of it.